Hello, 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 hello. Greetings. I know you guys probably think we're starting later, but we were doing commercials. We're doing all kinds of other.
Yeah, some housekeeping.
I like doing that stuff. Should we put that stuff on? No, we shouldn't put that stuff on video.
Well, you'll see
us
me
make
say
fun of all the commercials.
You'll see me saying knowledgeable.
You said another word that's not real. You said knowledgeability.
Oh yeah, knowledgeability.
I stand behind knowledgeability.
Did we look it up if it's actually?
And no, but then you said one that I thought wasn't a word, but then it is a word, but I've never heard it used.
What was that?
You said, instead of saying all the different types of insurance you need, you said all of the different types of insurances, which is correct.
No, insurances.
Insurances is because you can't have give me insurances. I'm going to need some insurances. I think that's a real word.
But if you're,
I don't think I've ever used the word insurances before. I would say multiple types of insurance different types of insurance. Or what kinds of insurance do you have? I wouldn't say, well, what are your insurances?
So I heard.
Because if you say it like this, hey, what's your insurances? It takes on a different vibe.
So I saw on.
Oh, my camera's fucked up again. Good God.
Is that upside down?
No, it just inflates it or something.
The Neil deGrasse Tyson said fishes one time in an interview.
Is it right? It's right, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And it made you mad. And you're like,
well, Rogan was like, you mean fish? He corrected him.
Yeah. You mean fish, black guy? I'm a white guy.
And then Neil deGrasse Tyson was like, no, that's correct.
It's actually fishes. I didn't.
Because there's fish.
Did you assume I was raised in the ghetto, Joe Rogan?
And you could say all the fishes in the ocean because that is a correct
all of the
pluralization
fishes in the deep blue sea
of fish. You could say fishes, which doesn't sound right, but I guess there's different species of fish.
Okay, so it is assurances. Duncan's right. It's assurances.
But can you say
an assurance is a guarantee? An insurance is completely different.
Can you say there's multiple insurances? No.
I don't think. Yeah, I think I was right. So I was right.
If there are.
Because I heard it. Like, I'm an English major, but it was only because of creative writing. I'm not the best at grammar. I'm certainly not the best at spelling. But when I heard it, I was like, insurances?
Oh, but this
I don't know if that's right.
But this is like fishes in the fact that there's, like, if I have boat insurance, homeowner's insurance, and car insurance.
Those are different types of insurance. Those are your insurances. I don't know about that. Andrea would know.
Can I have multiple insurances? I have.
See, it sounds weird when you say it. When you say, can I have multiple insurances?
Well, it's have fishes sound weird. It was like, oh, there's a bunch of fishes in there. And you mean fish? And you're like, no, you could say fishes.
But you're only saying, but aren't you only saying it to fucking troll people a little bit if you do that? Right? Like, isn't Neil, when he's saying that? Because no one would say that. Nobody would be like, nobody say, how many fishes do you have in your aquarium? They'd say, how many fish do you have in your aquarium? Yeah. So to say it, you're baiting Joe Rogan that you know is red and dumb to be racist. You're baiting him. I'm defending him.
Well, you know more about grammar.
Drew used to do that to me. Drew would do that.
I don't know anything about grammar.
Drew would be on the air, me and Drew. I was Drew Garabo. I'd be his producer, and Drew would do that. And it would make me angry. He'd use a new word that he knew the definition to, and he knew I wouldn't know the definition to it, and I'd just go along.
That's funny. In the show Severance, Mr. Milchek gets reprimanded by the company for using too big of words all the time.
I don't like that.
They're like the other people that work with you say we
find you hard to understand.
They're like you're using unnecessary elaborate words.
Oh, I knew my wife would. I knew Andrea would be in there. Okay, Andrea says the plural of insurance is still insurance.
Okay, so you cannot
in most contexts, it's considered a non-count noun, like information or advice. However, in specific contexts where you're referring to different types of policies, you might say insurance policies or use insurances to describe multiple kinds of coverage. So we're right. We're both right.
Technically,
we're both right.
You can say insurances.
Say it. You just grasped me. Don't you fucking grass me. Don't you mean fish? All right, that was a good warm-up.
Now, knowledgeability.
Knowledgeability. Andrea, we look up knowledgeability.
Yeah,
we use that.
I'm virtually certain
use
it's
that.
not
What do
thing.
we use that for? Bart Merrick team? No.
Yeah.
It may have been Bart Merrick team, and you're like,
No,
you need
I
a
forgot.
team that has the maybe Fairvilla. They
Oh,
got the knowledge.
yeah.
They got the
got
knowledgeability.
staff that has the knowledgeability.
And dildos. Okay.
Because knowledge is an ability.
It is an ability to have knowledge.
But I guess every human has some knowledge.
Knowledge, you're double abilitizing it, right? Knowledge, if I have knowledge, I also have knowledgeability. It's the same thing. Knowledge and knowledgeability are exactly the same.
Luckily, most of our audience is in Florida, too.
All right, Andrea, I knew you should have married my wife. You should have married my wife.
Right.
Yes, knowledgeability is a word.
All right.
It refers to the quality of being knowledgeable, meaning well-informed or having extensive knowledge about the subject. While it's a valid term, knowledgeableness is sometimes used as an alternative, though both are less common than simply saying knowledge, which is what we were just discussing. We did get to the end result of both of these.
Now, what's interesting is I did not know that, obviously, because I'm very uneducated, and my grammar is super poor, but I stumbled into a correct word. Even if I knew when I said it, my brain was like, this is incorrect.
Yeah.
Like, knowledgeability.
It's an underused word.
But so I just stumbled into ignorance that was actually right.
Correct. You are Castleberry. What's the guy's name?
Illiterate Magoo.
You're Neil deGrasse.
Neil deGrasse Magoo.
You're Brown Grass Tyson. I was trying to make a dirty yard joke. All right. You want to do some voicemails and emails?
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Here we go. Let's try to laugh a little bit. Here we go. 3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Let's do some voicemail.
Yes, sir. Voicemail messages. And we love it when you call the show. In fact, I got charged for our vanity line yesterday. We have 1-844-TOMNDAN. Just dial that on your phone. You'll get this, you'll go to like our database. It'll say, hi, it's Tom and Dan. Leave a message. You can leave a message. You can ask a question. You can pretty much anything
Bring up
you
a topic that you want us to talk about.
Yeah. I wrote this down. We now have a personal concierge for our vanity number. And he wrote me a personal letter as of this morning. And his name, he uses his full name every time he writes me.
Okay.
So I wrote back to him, hi, nice to meet you. Glad to have you on board.
Is this a real person or a bot?
It's a real person.
Okay.
And the reason I know it's a real person is because he does use his real name, all 4 words of it, every single time he writes me back.
Okay.
And his name is John Mark Christopher with a C, no H, Ponceran. John Mark Christopher Ponceran.
Is this an Indian call center?
No, this is he looks to be very Nordic.
Okay.
And his name is John Mark Christopher, John Mark Christopher Ponceran.
All right.
So when I write back to him, I'm like,
is this a service that we pay for?
Yeah, we pay for I pay a lot of money. You know me. I use our credit cards. I do.
What is that?
I subscribe to every industry standard AI subscription service that you could subscribe to. I've got Apple Music. I've got Tidal. I've got Spotify.
Well, what can this concierge do for us?
I don't know yet. I'm just.
What is he gonna do?
I just started talking to him. He said I'm supposed to set up a meeting with him. So I wrote him. I said, glad to have you. Well, he's like, I'm glad to be your new guy. And then he asked me, have you had an account manager before? And I said, no, I have not, John Mark Christopher Ponceran.
What is he managing?
Our account. Like, this is a new thing. Whenever you subscribe to something.
So you get a vanity, but.
Some person or bot, but I believe this is a real person, will write you and be like, hey, I'm your new guy. If you have any questions, let me walk you through it. It's because everything is service now. It's an even playing field with technology, right? So, everything is service.
But what kind of service can a vanity number like you get the vanity number?
He'll explain everything for me. It's for people that don't know what they're doing, right? Remember when our vanity number was broken and Tracy was using it to text and spam our listeners' medical marijuana deals, and then we lost our number?
Oh, this is not the texting service.
No.
This is just the number.
This is just the number. But my point is that this guy's job is for people that don't know what they're doing. He's a personal help desk. That's what he is.
So, but it would just be if it just stopped working.
No.
Because it's either it works or it doesn't.
No.
What else is there?
No. Why do you look at everything at black and white?
No.
But why can't you open your mind up a little bit? You don't think for a second that I would have why isn't this feature not working? Explain this feature. How do I forward calls? How do I line up this number? How do I set my voicemail inbox? How do I make the vanity number appear when people are calling? How do I change my caller ID? There are multiple, if not millions, of questions using the software. We've just been assigned a guy. It's not like, hey, this isn't working, John Mark Christopher Ponceran.
My whole thing is that you get a vanity number, and then it's like, all right, it works, and then
this is for like our answering service. Like we have it rings 3 times before it picks up. Then it plays a message. Then it stores all of our messages. Then it sends me an email saying we have a message. Then it sends me a transcript of the message that we got from the listener.
Okay, the whole service.
Yeah, the whole service.
All right,
it's like that's what you have. But anyway, I thought that was interesting that he used his full name. Every correspondence, full name. Nothing without a full name. All right, let's get some voicemails. If you'd like to leave us one, we would love to have it. And you can be used on a future show like this one, right?
Hold on. How expensive is this vanity number?
It's not that expensive. I think we paid one-time cost was like $200 for the number one time.
Yeah.
And then I think we pay $80 a month for the service. And we have for, I don't know, the last 7 years or something.
Yeah. I guess $80 a month is a lot.
Well, I mean, it's
like a water bill.
I mean, you can get rid of it if you want to, but it does house all of our voicemails. We can get rid of all of those. We'll no longer have a vanity number in use.
Well, is there something cheaper?
And there'll be no need to have any of these phone lines so we can cancel the spectrum too. So, I mean, if that's the road you want to go down, I'm all for it. It's just going to make talking to each other a lot harder.
No, but can we, is there some sort of voicemail that's cheaper than $80 a month?
There might be, but guess what? I'm not looking into it. This is the one we're doing.
Well, someone look into it.
Yeah. You could get one.
$80 a month.
Get one of your pain pill addicted handyman to look into it. But I'm not looking into it.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
We've been paying that for 7 years.
Yeah, and I bought $300 worth of pizza, and it was delicious. Black Magic pizza, way better than Papa John's. All right, let's try this one right here. This is from Keyed Up BDM.
Hey, what's up? It's Keyed Up BDM. Me and my wife were talking the other day about how you guys were changing the show and like you were going to come up with a different name and you were just going to say Tom and Dan, whatever. She mentioned a really good idea. Can't take credit for it. She's the one that told me. Before you had it as a corporate time, so ACT, but maybe if you changed it to a censored time, you might get more hits. I don't know. Just sound, and then you can keep the ACT per se, and just call it a censored time. Just my 2 cents. Have a great day, guys.
Do you think someone wants to listen to a censored time? If they're like, oh, look, there's a podcast.
He's trying to help. Don't attack him. Man, you're in a bad mood today. You're attacking people. You are. You're in your...
Well, think about the suggestions.
We got to save money. Look, he's just calling it to try and help out. I think we did confuse everybody when we said we were going to try and change our branding and make it a little more cohesive. I think that they think we're changing it all together instead of just kind of streamlining everything into Tom and Dan. I think we did a poor job of explaining that. I think we did.
Well, yeah, my whole point is that when you see a corporate time name as a podcast, you may be confused about what we're talking about, that it's just a comedy show with two dudes that live in Central Florida.
So a censored time may be even more confusing.
And worse than even a corporate time, because at least a corporate time is like, oh, maybe it's something about business that I do want to listen to. Censored, I feel like nobody wants to listen to censored content. And you don't want to put that out.
We say that, but I know that ACT gets a ton of downloads and a ton of people like it because it's spicy, but without
But that's what
regular curse words.
But that's why podcasts like Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts have a censored and uncensored button you click.
Sure.
And so then you can, if you want something that doesn't have curse words, you can organize. You just click the button when you search.
I understand that. I'm just saying that they like it uncensored because they can listen to it and just leave it on and not have to worry about making the decision of choosing censored, uncensored. I got kids I got to pick up in the bus loop. I'd rather just put something on and let it roll. So I think that's why they like ACT. They don't have to. There's no decision fatigue at all.
No, I agree. And then there is a positive element of there's no curse
but I
words
don't
or
seek out out censored content.
And you definitely wouldn't see a censored time and click on it and be like, oh, this is something that I want. I would, for the most part.
Maybe out of curiosity, maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, horrible idea.
Okay, there you go. Thanks for calling. Appreciate you. He's in there. Yeah. He says.
Didn't you think about it?
This is what he said. He said, "I'm not feeling the BDM appreciation. Oh, that starts in April. Don't take it personally.
Well, I appreciate you being a BDM. I'm just saying your idea was horrible.
This is what he does with his wife. He goes home and starts kicking the cat around. It's fine.
No, just hey, let me present you an idea. I'm just telling you the truth. What, you want me to lie to you? Want me to blow smoke up your ass?
You do it to everybody else. Just do it to Keita.
No, only to people that I need their
money,
business
or a favor.
Yeah. I'm doing it just for a BDM membership.
Let's try this one. He's a 1095er, pretty sure.
Okay, well, you know what? I mean, I'll think about
it. He's coming around.
Maybe that
Let
is
him
something.
Sleep on it. Let him sleep on it. Let's try this one right here.
Sorry about the Rolling Stones there on the radio.
Can I say something? I hate the Rolling Stones.
I never was a fan.
No.
I guess
Wild Horses. I think that was Wild Horses in the background. They're not good.
I hear the songs and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
but I'm never like seeking out the Rolling Stones.
No.
It's a different generation, But if you're, I guess a boomer age, 60s, that's what if you're in your 60s.
This guy's my age.
50s, 60s.
God, turn that off.
Now, how old is he?
He's got to be my age. This is what is his name? Alex.
Okay.
Listener came in here, gave me the baseball. He calls in with a deep voice. He's got to be my age, or maybe a little younger. He might be closer to your age.
And he's into the Rolling Stones. Like that's
I don't believe that.
Yeah, you grew up if he's my age, you grew up in the '90s.
Right? Yeah.
You
should put on some Lit and some Smash Mouth. He continues.
Overpowering. You guys had Casey and Jeff Howell on recently, or in the future. I don't know when anything airs from when it's recorded. And you guys were talking about Tibby's New Orleans restaurant. I might have called in and told you guys this years ago, but new listeners, right? So I used to enjoy going to Tibby's. It was a great spot after work to get an ice-cold beer and some, jambalaya or red beans and rice. And my buddy Smokey from SBK Live worked there. So I'd go see.
Oh, I remember that dude. He moved to Colorado to do weed stuff, and then he came back.
Yeah, well, last time we saw him, he worked at
Wild Wild West.
Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
But one of the best parts about Tibby's was in the afternoon, happy hour-ish time, get a nice good buzz on at the bar. Make sure you park right in front of Tibby's, but to the left, because there was a karate studio there. And myself and my wife and my friends, we would stand around drunkenly after happy hour at Tibby's and watch these young boys and girls beat the S out of each other with the foam sticks or just their hands and fists. And it was a fantastic way to end a happy hour watching children fight. I just wanted to share that with you guys.
I don't think that's a proper dojo like Seth's, right? When you're the kids are running around just wild daycare and whacking each other in the head with foam.
Yeah. And any karate dojo that I've ever seen, I've never seen the physical, actual fighting each other.
I've never seen any fighting.
They're all just, practicing
run in
form.
a circle.
Yeah, and discipline and form. Yeah, the physical fighting.
I would watch if they were physically fighting.
Yeah.
I watch fights.
Yeah. I'll watch kids fight.
My favorite thing now is watching pedophiles get beat up by MMA guys on Instagram.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah. They bait them just like Shaquille O'Neal.
You catch a predator, and then they get them over.
No, but
and they
it's
beat them up.
MMA guys. It's they're the stereotypical fanny pack, tattooed, faux hawk, head tattoo, MMA guy.
Yeah.
And he baits. It's normally, I'll just call what I say. It's normally a Latin or a Middle Eastern man, very skinny. Shows up to some parking lot to meet some 14-year-old girl. MMA guy gets out and just starts beating his head in.
Oh, then that's content for the internet?
Yeah, that's the content, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's all I watch. I don't watch TV anymore. I just watch
I did not know
MMA
that was
pedophile
content.
Yeah. You haven't seen any of this?
And if you're the MMA guy, well, obviously you're doing it for content.
Yeah.
But, is
Click
that it?
Like, smash that subscribe button like I'm smashing this pedophile's face.
Can you make money off of that?
I think you can. I think you can monetize it.
Yeah.
You can't let it get too bloody, I guess.
Is that illegal in any way? Like beating up
pedophiles?
A pedophile, just
I
like
feel
vigilante
like
justice?
it's the last person that you're allowed to just randomly beat up for no reason.
Can the pedophile I guess that you're not going to press
charges?
charges?
You're not because you're going to be like, oh, this guy beat me up. And you're like, what were you doing there? Never mind. Right? Like, is that how it's going to go?
Well, is it none of your business? Can you just say that? And then the guy's
I was buying some towels for my guest bathroom.
Search that. What is it? MMA pedophile beat up?
Yeah, MMA. How did you know? MMA.
Put that on my TikTok algorithm.
Yeah, it's going around. It's huge. MMA pedophile beat up. It's huge.
All right, we will see you tomorrow.
Awesome. Let me save that. That's the tail end of Jeff, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Sorry, that's a short one.
We could do another 15.
Do you want to do 15?
And just throw it on Tuesday.
Let's do it. Let me save this. That was. Where did we put Jeffrey?
Tonight. It's
Thursday.
Whenever. Let me pee.
I got it.
We'll just do a quick 15.
Do your thing, man. That 13. 4. Okay, Sympathy for the Devil, Neo. I'll give you that one. That is a good song. I remember my dad liked the Stone song. Caught between a rock and a hard place. A rock and a hard place. I think that came out like in the late 90s. Damn, Tracy, that was savage. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I did, yeah, keyed up. I got it. It's in there. I don't know if we'll get to it, but I got it. Let me see my emails. I got a couple emails too. Okay. All right. Is this there? I'll just bring us back.
Yeah, we'll just do welcome back.
All right, here we go. I'll bring us back. 3, 2. Welcome back to a corporate time.
Let's do an email.
Yeah. This one is let's go to this one. This is from listener Rob. He says, Dan, I swear I saw you on my Xbox and 4 children. No, I swear you on my Xbox, and this doesn't make any sense, but I swear you on my Xbox and 4 children's souls. Yes, my kids, not ones I have in the attic, that I will die with the info. But Ross, the comedian that you had on the Friday Free Show, is the Aloha Spirit promoter. Listening to the Friday Free Show, I thought I was losing it. I probably am. Ross is that guy, right? Anyways, love you. Hope you're healing well. And if you have any real pain pill, I have real pain pills, and I will overnight them to you, Rob.
I'm on them right now.
Yeah, just overnight them to us right now, okay?
Well,
just send them.
Anybody
can send me their pain pills. You know our P.O. box. I'm not going to give it out. Just do a little bit of legwork and make it happen.
141485 Orlando.
Yeah, Orlando. Put some coffee in there so the dogs won't smell it. I don't know. It works with weed.
So this guy thinks Ross Paget.
Two different people, unless it's the same guy. Somebody hit me on Twitter and
they
said...
They don't even sound the same, right?
Some guy hit me on Twitter, could have been the same guy, said that Ross Paget, local touring comedian, writer, has the show.
Yeah, was on Jim Colbert.
Was on Jim Colbert's show before Jim Colbert fired him.
For 9 years. Yeah. That was a long time.
Yeah. I made that up. Jim didn't fire him, but it felt good to say that. It felt good to say that.
Well, he didn't fire him. Anyway, corporate radio.
Yeah, we're moving on. What do you
do?
Not the same guy, by the way. It's not. It's not the same guy. But
he doesn't even have the same, pardon my pun, spirit as Ross Paget.
I think it is his, though, zest for telling a tale. Like, I can see the similarity between the excitement. Like, Ross is a good presenter. He's a good storyteller. He's not going to just come in and mumble mouth you. He's going to present the story, right?
Yeah, a good broadcaster.
He's going to talk with his hands, and he's going to, kind of explain it to you. And I guess Aloha Spirit, and I'm blanking on that guy's name. What was that guy's name?
I thought his name was Brett, right?
Brett, yes. Yeah. Aloha Spirit Brett. That guy, similar in the energy level, but they look completely different. Brett is he looks to be 4 feet tall and bald with a mustache. Right? Like a little bald man with a mustache. And then Ross Paget is about 7 feet tall. And
looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Anyway, I never would have even put them together as they even were close to similar. But
me neither.
When you listen, that's the weird thing. Like, it's the old theater of the mind.
Yeah.
Where you just listen to voices.
Does it help or hurt, or are we beyond that now?
Well, there's so much video out there, and when we put out like promo stuff on social, it's always video.
Do you remember when you were a young man, not in radio and certainly not in podcasting, and you're working your regular jobs, whether it be Champs or anything, and you're listening to the radio and you had no idea who the person you're listening to? Do you remember the persona you would give that person? Would you draw a person in your mind?
Yeah. I did this with the Monsters.
Well, what did I look like?
You don't want
to. You can never say that I...
Not what I thought. I was like, oh my God, are you standing in a hole? I did the same thing that every other listener did. Everybody's the same.
Hasn't changed.
Yeah.
By the way, my bowling team for the Mo Bowlerama that's coming up very, very soon.
They're bullying you.
They're bullying me already. They reached out to me the day after my hip surgery. My bowling team, I won't name them. My bowling team, they're texting me. They're like, are we doing Austin Powers and you're Vern Troyer? Or are you going to be...
Willy Wonka.
Yeah, are you going to be an Oompa Loompa? And I'm like, I literally almost died on the surgery table. I've done nothing to you, and you want me to be an Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
Really? I'm a 50-year-old man.
I don't know what that is, but people feel comfortable.
They do.
Making fun of how short you are.
You would never do that to a person of trans. That's how I'm going to start saying it. You would never do that to a black person.
Fat person.
Fat person, black person, trans person. You'd never do that.
We're going to be meet the clumps. You fat
hey, you fat black person. We're going to be meet the clumps for the bowling tournament because you're fat and black. You can be that fat black guy from The Office. Right. No one would say you can be Stanley. Hey, fat black guy, you're going to be Stanley from The Office just because you look like that.
Would you do it with a tall person? I think you would, but
you would do it with a tall person.
But being tall is considered a compliment, right?
It is, because it's like a sign of strength. Being small is a sign of weakness.
Yeah. Yes, it is odd that people feel super comfortable, and it's happened for 30 years.
It'll never stop. I'll die. Somebody will say it as I'm dying. They'll be like, like that.
Who died in this coffin? It's tiny.
Yeah, they'll be like, Austin Powers coffin. Is that Vern Troyer?
Yeah. It'll never stop. You're right. It'll never stop.
It's unstoppable.
You will die.
Now, to a certain degree, I do feel like it has made me tough.
Yeah.
Because
so at least there's that.
Because you can't. It has happened at all. There hasn't been a month that it hasn't happened.
Yeah. No,
since I've been born.
I've seen it in person, and it's always, now it's not really shocking to me. I laugh at it. And maybe that's the problem. I just laugh at it.
Yeah, well, I do too now. I do. Imagine doing it. Imagine doing it.
Well, what are you going to do? Get mad at it? You can't.
No, you can't.
It's never going to stop.
The one that I bring up, though, is that, like, and it hurts people because I find it, like, sort of similar, is teeth. You would never do that to somebody that has, like, rotten no teeth, right?
Or that's bald. You wouldn't bring it up, I think.
Bald maybe ekes into the territory.
Bald in the Venn diagram.
It ekes in. It ekes into height.
Because you're just like, well, I'm just stating an obvious.
Yeah.
You are bald.
And it's also, there's nothing you can do about it. The teeth thing, I feel like, it's almost like, well, there was something you could do about it.
Yeah,
so
you
don't
did it
talk
to
about
yourself.
Yeah.
But you would never do it with any race or the way someone looks in any other way.
You wouldn't do it with somebody's nose.
No. Or, really a lot of other things. I guess
albino. Would you do it with albino? I don't think you would.
Nah, maybe albino.
And you wouldn't
it's
do it
so
with little
rare.
person. You wouldn't do it with little person, but you'll do it with short person.
Yes,
you won't do it with little person because it's not allowed. Oh, don't say anything about Peter Dinklage. But Dan, you can go off on him.
Yeah. If you're close to a little person.
I'm too little. I'm too little. I'm so big that you are allowed to make fun of me, and I'm not small enough to be off limits.
Yeah, that's what it is. That you figured it out.
I did. Thank you for letting me talk that
out.
But
what's odd is that a little person, everybody's like, oh yeah, the M word, the whole thing is like, oh no, don't talk about it. But if you're acknowledging, let's really analyze this.
Yeah,
you're acknowledging like, hey, this could be disrespectful
to the person,
so let's not mention it, right?
Yes.
But if you're just a little bit taller than a little person, if you're 2 inches taller than a little person. See, yeah, it's funny. That's why
it is funny. It is funny. I'm laughing.
But it's weird because you're like, well, we can't say it with a little person.
No.
And so, you would think that would carry on to a person that's just a little bit bigger than a little person.
Yeah.
So you're acknowledging that height is a thing that you shouldn't bring up, but it's fine if they're not technically a little person.
And I think people have probably got in trouble with it because
they are a little person, but not a little person.
Right. Yeah, smaller person. No, I'm a smaller person.
Yeah,
I'm not a little person.
But you're not even that small.
Well, I'm fat. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, technically, you're not that much shorter than I am.
I think
you're
4'11", though, isn't 4'11".
Yeah, but you're 5'2". I'm 5'8".
There's a couple inches.
So there's a 6-inch difference between us, really. Or
Right.
5'9", I guess. So, the 7 inches is barely anything. It shouldn't be enough to bring up so much in your life.
I know, they love saying it.
I know why.
Maybe it's because I made it. Maybe because it doesn't bother me. Because it really doesn't.
Because we making fun of it.
Yeah, maybe that's
that's why Napoleon killed the world. That was a problem.
Well, wait and see what I do next. Wait and see what I do next. This one, let me do this. Can we do this?
Yeah.
I want to do it. Hi, Tom and Dan. I hope you're doing well. My name is Courtney. I'm the resident services coordinator at Altus Grand Lake Willis Apartments. Would love to work with you. We have a podcast studio in our luxury apartment building. We would love for you to come out and record an episode at our space. Dude, let's come out there. Poolside, luxury apartment.
Yeah, but it's not poolside. It's
we'll get it poolside. DJ poolside.
I think can you bring your own recording equipment? Yeah. We get it. Okay. Well, what's the point?
No,
then?
we're gonna use their stuff. We'll have it set it up by the pool. Let's do it.
We have a studio.
When did they start building apartment complexes with podcasting studios inside of them?
Well,
we gotta find something other than podcasting if that's the case. Too many podcasts.
Well, what is in the studio?
I saw it. They got a green screen wall.
Okay.
With cameras. They've got the flagrant kind of setup, or the tiger belly setup where it's like 2 fancy chairs that look like fancy hit people should be in them.
Okay.
With a fancy table in the center with like a bunch of like crazy plants that kind of make you look fancy.
How much would it be? We need to talk to Ross because
Which Ross? We have a lot of Rosses.
Paget.
You're talking about super tall Ross or
Spirit of Aloha Spirit
Aloha
Ross. Yeah, Aloha Ross. That's what I call it. About how much his whole setup.
Some people in the chat room have seen this downtown. Yeah.
Because, here at TND Media, we like to go cheap.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you heard this earlier, right? Yeah, Tracy's already in the chat room. Yeah, Tracy's in the chat room saying, I can get you a vanity number and voicemails for way less than $70. The listeners
we'll get
it. No, we're not doing it. I'm not changing it. It's $70 until I die.
No, if it could be cheaper, then why not?
Because it's too much legwork changing it. I'll never then you change it. If you can figure out how to change it, I'll let you change it.
Okay, well, Tracy can change it.
She'll never figure it out. It's too complicated.
It was just
no, it's not. It's not easy.
Anyway, but is a podcast studio I guess, to incentivize someone to live in an apartment complex to use a podcast studio?
If you had a
is
podcast.
That enough incentive? But if you had a podcast, most likely you've been figuring out how to record it. Like, could you
Most podcasters don't have studios. We're very weird in that we have a studio. Most podcasters that I see, I'm in that group now on Facebook, and they show their setups all day, every day. They like just 60,000 people showing their setups all the time.
Yeah.
And it's usually just a laptop with like this guy.
A recorder, yeah.
This little guy plugged
Zoom,
into it.
yeah. That's how we recorded when we went to Gatorland. By the way, if you want to listen to our Gatorland podcast, subscribe to A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. That was last Friday's episode.
Go support Savannah. She tells great stories. She's awesome.
But
we had a great time.
All we needed is a Zoom recorder and 3 mics, which is cheap as hell. Like the whole setup is under $200 now. Like you can get it used.
Well, this one was a gift from our buddy SJ.
Yeah.
I looked it up new, and oddly, it's $159, which is funny. And but this is a great recorder. In fact, this is better than our H6 that we had. This one I'd used the first time we used it was the Savannah show, and this is a better recorder.
Yeah, but even like the other recorders that we've always done go-to shows with are now years old.
Pick them up used for like $60.
Yeah, probably even cheaper, $50, and then you get some used cords and some used SM58 mics. That's what we use, like the same mics that like a band would use.
You don't even need that good of a mic.
Yeah, and I mean, and you get a high quality recording. So like you could do a podcast for under $200 of equipment, right? If you needed to.
It looks like they have better equipment though. So maybe that is the switch.
Well, then you get a studio and stuff. But the problem is with the studio is it's only for the video. You know what I'm saying? So
for the most part,
because
that's what this setup looks like.
Yeah,
it looks
for
like
a video
a
setup.
very nice video setup.
And then so that does cost money because now you could do it at your house, but you need to dedicate a room. And a lot of people don't have an extra room they could dedicate to a podcast studio, right?
True.
So that's where the expense is. But if you're not doing video, there's no need for a studio whatsoever nowadays.
Seems like a lot of people that pendulum swinging back too, where you're having people go back to like more audio only type podcast because
more people can listen to audio than they can watch video.
Absolutely.
By far, because there's so many more instances in your life that you're audio only. For instance, doing chores, walking your dog, exercise. All these situations. The
only problem with it is you can't promote it.
It's harder to promote.
Well, it's almost virtually impossible. People try to use these little things called slugs where you'll get like your, maybe your album artwork or a picture of you or maybe a picture of you interviewing a guest. And then you just put your audio and attach the audio to it. It's just like a YouTube file with a stagnant video in the background. Nobody watches those.
Yeah, no, I know.
Nobody does. And don't even kid yourself and think that people do. I mean, people read TikTok, and that's why I was explaining to some old man in the podcast group because he was like kind of arguing with me about like, well, video, you don't need to do video, and I was like, but if you want to like try to at least promote yourself, and it's difficult.
Social media, yeah.
You have to because people will look at a clip of your video. They're not watching it with the sound on. They're reading the caption of your video. They're reading your video podcast, which I know is a mind F. I get it.
Yeah,
but that is what they're doing.
And social media is really the end-all, be-all for promotion unless you have an insane amount of money and you could do traditional promotion. You know what I'm saying? Like, most people can't. So it's just like you got to put out clips. And what clip are you going to put out of just audio only?
If you had to pick traditional – I've been wanting to ask you this, not necessarily on air, but maybe we're talking about it. What traditional advertising, if you had to try and invest in something right now, because we kick this around all the time – about how we think about it, and then we just push it to the back of our mind, right?
Personal endorsement. So if we had like $30,000,
Dan, come and like, do you mean some of our celebrity and the people that we've worked with and helped and that we're friends with?
I don't even know if they offer this, and I've never even heard. So it's just like if I ask Dan Cummins, like, hey, I'll pay you to tell your audience, like, hey, I listen to Tom and Dan. I like this podcast. You should check it out.
You might like it. Yeah.
That would work more, and that would be the best value I could think of for the money spent. Now, the problem is a lot of people won't do that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, even if someone, unless it was real.
Yeah.
Now, he may do it because a friend, you know what I'm saying? Like,
True.
But if I tried to pay him to do it, it'd be awkward because he's like, you know what I'm saying? Because I know he probably doesn't listen to our podcast.
He's too busy.
Yeah, he's too busy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I would imagine every once in a while he'll check in, just like I do with his show. I mean, those of us that are in the field, it's hard to listen to podcasts.
You see clips of it on, but everybody's and maybe I'm ignorant to this, and everybody's a different person, so, whatever. But you're into what you're into, and if that is what you're into, most likely you have only a certain amount of stuff to listen to. Now, maybe you're just into variety, and you have a variety of stuff, but most likely you've fallen onto your handful of podcasts you listen to, and they put out episodes at least once a week, probably 3 times a week, some daily, you know what I'm saying? And then with that amount of content, again, you have walking your dog, you have exercising, you have driving, or whatever else time to listen to audio only.
Yeah. Cardio,
and
something like that.
There's only a certain amount of time. Now, drivers, we've noticed, can listen to a lot more because they maybe have a whole shift of 8 hours a day that they consume content. And those are the people that are your, like, ultra listeners because they've listened to every piece of content we've had. Think about our listeners. We've done this long enough where the people that listen to every single piece of content we put out are usually have a position in life in which they're like, I need X amount of hours a day of audio. Yeah. Because I have my earbuds
like, I have a territory. I travel a lot. I need this amount.
The sharp square.
Yeah.
He, is basically working at a position where he listens to podcasts all day long while he works, right? So a lot of our Twitch viewers, right? They're at their desk or whatever. They just put it on and they listen to it while we record. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but if you don't have that, then you got to break it off into, this, like me, I barely have time to listen to even the stuff I want to because my day's so broken up and stuff. I'll listen to it when I work out, do the dishes, or
that's probably when you're most consistent, I would say, is when you're doing like a run or doing a workout.
Yeah,
right?
But even running though, I've switched over to music because I can't listen to people talk because it's diminishing returns. I'm like, God, I need some sort of motivation.
Books are doing that to me now. I'm reading a book right now, but I say air quotes, reading a book. I'm listening to a book, and it's starting to. I listen to so many meditations, and I listen to a lot of music most of the time on my headphones. So as I'm listening to this book is almost, my brain is almost trained to hear someone talking and think meditation, so I start getting sleepy.
No,
it's almost like I've screwed myself up. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like I do so many audio meditations, and I'm so good at, like, circle breathing and getting myself to sleep, and I've worked really, really, really hard on being able to, like, calm myself down. I use it in here when things happen, and I see myself getting triggered, and I'll do it, and I'm good at it.
Yeah.
I'm too good at it now because I'm reading this book, and this lady will start talking, and her cadence will get going, and I find myself like
you zone out, yeah.
Boom! It's like Pavlov. Boom! I'm out.
And I need, like, if I'm listening to an audiobook, I need to concentrate on what the person's saying so I get the value out of it.
I can't just 15 seconds back. I can't understand what they're saying.
Because I find myself zoning out and thinking about work stuff or other things, and then I'm like, well, what am I doing? I'm just listening to a voice in the background
while I think about something.
Because I'm not. What am I doing? What am I accomplishing with this? Like, I want to consume the book.
Yeah.
I want to hear what the person's saying and think about what they're saying. I don't need to zone out and start thinking my own thoughts, though I haven't listened to anything.
Yeah, but then there are some times when I'm listening to it, and it's almost like I have to be in the right frame of mind, where the book's coming into my ears, and I'm active in the conversation. Like, the lady's asking me questions about something. It's like a self-help book. And then I'm answering it real time. And it's great. It's like a flow state. I'm like, well, this is great. But that is very few and far between.
Yeah, and that's what they're looking for, you to interact with the content in your brain and think about it. Because that's how you retain it, and it's valuable to you.
It's hard to do.
Yeah. Anyway.
Did you see that Mike B cut his mustache off?
I did. And I got to say, looks more professional.
He does.
I immediately looked at it. I was like, I'll hire that guy.
I hired, yeah. We said it at the same time. Jinx, wow.
That mustache was really doing you harm.
He's a good-looking guy. My God, with a good haircut, he looks like a.
You see how many comments it got?
He looks like a jazz singer or something.
Got 100 comments because people are like, "Oh my God, why have you been doing this to yourself?" That's what they're saying, Mike. You got all those comments because people are like, "Oh my God, why?"
Get this disgusting mustache shackled to your legs and holding you down.
You look like this the whole time. You just took the bag off your head.
Such a good-looking man.
All right, we will see you tomorrow.
Good job. All right, guys. Well, we'll be back A little before 1, right? 1 or 1:30?
We'll come back at 1. Try to do some live calls. We haven't done it. It's live call Thursday, but if we don't get any, Cadillac Pat's coming in at 1:30. So